Welcome to Sriram IAS. Myself Shiv Shankari alias Shiva Ignatius. So after a long time we are meeting again for ethics. Welcome back for the students who are continuously watching us, and hi to the new ones. So now what topic we are going to discuss in ethics today? So you might have known that there is a topic called dimensions of ethics. This in our first class itself I have told you the dimension of ethics is a topic, and it's very important topic. Frequently you will be getting questions either in the case study part you will get, or in the theoretical part directly as a question you will get from this section. But very less focus is given to this topic. See, dimension, we have splitted this into 4. I hope you remember. Like descriptive, okay, second prescriptive, meta, and finally we will be saying the applied ethics part. This we have already explained in our previous classes, so we need not explain again and again. So we will go to this part, that is applied ethics. I already told that applying the moral principles which you take from the prescriptive ethics, they are prescribing certain philosophers from world, from our country is prescribing certain moral principles for us. We are taking that, we are applying to the problems we are facing in our day-to-day life. In our day-to-day life we are facing in various fields, we are facing a lot of moral issues, moral problems. We are applying that moral principles here, is called applied ethics. Okay. So this applied ethics can be from for various field, like starting from environmental ethics. This is one field. Okay. Same way bioethics. Okay. Then business ethics, like this it goes on. So if you cleanly notice, you will find in your question paper from the business ethics part, definitely you will be getting a question in the case studies, and various other fields also, bioethics, then international ethics. Okay, like this we have the frequent questions will appear in your case study part, application part. Same way, the first topic here is environmental ethics. So today we are going to discuss about environmental ethics. It's a small topic, but it's an important topic. Again, there may be repetition of questions from this topic. Already twice we got direct questions. Now, other than that, you will be getting some case studies also. So, what is environmental ethics? Before defining environment ethics, I want to touch some environmental issues which is happening in our world and the relevant ethical problems associated with that environmental issues. That way we are going to discuss. So what I am going to do, I am going to write the ethical issues here. Okay, watch carefully and listen carefully this. We all know lot of environmental problems which are occurring in the world. Can you mention some? You yourself know. Everywhere, madam, we go, there is some issue like pollution issue is happening. You know, somewhere like poaching, illegal trade in animals. Like this, we face a lot of issues in our world. And we are continuously striving hard to rectify the problem created by man itself because of his greed. He started consuming everything in front of him. Okay, even a fire will be very slow, but a man is faster than a fire to eat and consume everything which he sees in front of his eyes. Greeds, because of greed. So we will start with global warming. How this global warming issue is caused? You should not think that this is an environment topic. ethics, you have to be prepared from various angles. Environment you have to know, in bioethics you have to know about various issues related to health related issues, various medical related issues you have to know. So, first we will start with global warming. I am not going to elaborately discuss because this is not environment. So, I am going to briefly discuss about this and then I am going to write the ethical issues, that is important. So, what happens? Those countries which started becoming industrialized in nature, developed, they started developing. So, what they did? They extracted the fossil fuels, they burnt it out, used it in infrastructures, used it in industries, used it in automobiles, and then they released out something called as greenhouse gases, which you will learn in your environment. This is called greenhouse gases. There are a lot of gases which comes under this greenhouse gas. So, they are released out in the environment. What happened? It started making the earth hot, warm. That is why we say this is global warming. And when it makes it hot, the same is absorbed by the ocean. Now, in the ocean we have glaciers. When this GHG gases is warming the earth, the glaciers starts melting and the sea surface temperature also starts increasing. C1 and sea surface temperature is increasing, sea temperature is increasing, glacier is in the sea. When sea temperature is increasing and the earth is also warming, the glacier starts melting. Again the sea's temperature is increasing, glacier melts, temperature increases, glacier melts. This is like a cascading effect, it happens. So, now when the glacier melts, what is the result? Rise in sea level. That is a problem. Sea level rise. Now, sea level increases, height. So, what happens? All the countries, low lying countries, including our neighbor Bangladesh, even now 7% of their habitable land is only above 1 meter above the sea level. Maldives you take, long back they conducted cabinet meeting underwater to inform the world that see one day we completely go inside water, because the sea level is keep on increasing due to global warming. The glaciers are melting and the sea level is increasing. And even Bhutan conducted the cabinet meeting on Mount Everest. They told one day we all have to go there only to the top, because sea will occupy the place where we are now. This way the sea level rise starts. What is the ethical issue related to this type of problem? See, this resulted in environmental injustice. There are certain keywords. These are keywords. When you are writing in your ethics, you have to use the keywords. Environmental injustice. Why we are saying environmental injustice? Because this sea level rise is affecting or resulting in skewed vulnerabilities. It is affecting the vulnerable community. Like, you take people of Africa, they are far behind us, they are in the developing stage. At least we are emerging economy, but they are still behind us, far behind us. But what happens? They are affected by drought, they are affected by climate vulnerability. So, one who has polluted less is affected more. Okay. Now only we have realized in the last COP27, I will be connecting that at last. So, we thought that okay, the vulnerable community who has damaged the environment less are affected more. So, we have to support them in order to overcome this climate change effect. Okay. So, this is injustice created to the vulnerable community, resulting in environmental injustice, and it is totally unfair means. Okay. And mostly you see this will result increase environmental refugees. you all know what is refugee. Who are called refugees? See, there is a difference between migrants and refugees. I am telling about environmental refugee. This is a keyword which you have to use when you are writing environmental ethical issue. Okay, you can better write here environmental ethical issue. So, what is that called as refugee? Who are called refugees? Migrants are the people who plan for moving from one place to other, where they belong. From there they move to another place. For that they plan and they do it. Okay, they are called as migrants. But refugees are not like that. Refugees are the people who fly away from the place where they reside without even planning. But migrants, either for the education, either for the livelihood, either for the betterment of life, they move from the place where they are to another better places. But refugees stay where they don't like to move, but they are forced to flee the place due to some reasons. And you consider environmental refugees, these are the people either due to some environmental conditions like drought, famine, flood, land degradations. These are some of the reasons they are made as refugees. They flee from the place where they are born, where they are living, where everything, the land they hold one day is underwater. They flee the place. So, this increases environmental refugees. These are some environmental ethical issues again associated with this particularly. Again you see something like e-waste, dumping of e-waste. This is another big issue which is happening in the world. So, what happened? The developed countries, they have lot of money. They can buy the new models, iPhones, when it is released, immediately they will buy, go to the market. Who will carry this old one here? Give me the new one. Why this old laptop? Give me a new laptop. Okay, so what happened? The old ones are thrown away. Even if it is in a working condition or something, they don't want to use it, they simply discard it. This is called e-waste. So, what happens? This e-waste is dumped into the developing countries. So, what happened? We are trying to bring environmental, see there is no space, I am moving to the next page, but same way you have to consider. So, this is increasing or bringing in environmental discrimination. Leading to toxic, even we call this as toxic colonialism. You know, no, colonialism, it took place for market one time. They colonized new countries for market to sell their products. They went and captured, the East India Company did that. Like that, various other companies came to capture market. Same way now what they are doing, the developed countries are dumping in their e-waste into the developing countries or poor countries. They are dumping in the e-waste inside and colonizing them. It is a kind of new colonization they are saying. So, toxicity, we are discriminating the people based on the status, because they are poor, they have to accept anything. So, what happens, especially from the western countries, it is dumped into India and China, and where the people without proper safety gears, okay, in the unorganized sector, it ends in unorganized sector. So, what happened? There is no proper rules to be followed, no proper safety mechanisms is followed. Children are touching the e-waste with their hands, okay, and getting exposed to toxic materials which leach out from the e-waste, starting from mercury to lead. Okay, you can see lot of toxic materials coming out of that e-waste and affecting the nervous system, damaging their health completely. So, this is kind of environmental discrimination which is resulting from another environmental issues, I can say. Or dumping in solid or liquid waste near the slum areas. near the rural areas you are seeing. And again you come to the single use plastic, another issue, use plastics. Okay, you know what is single use plastic? One time use plastic. Now India is saying that we have to phase out the use of single use plastics, where you drink cool drinks with a straw, earbud, there are some plastics is used, no. So all these are single use plastic, one time they will use it, they will throw. So what happens, this will accumulate. You all know that what happens to plastic. Plastic will not degrade, it will remain there for longer period. So it will break down into microplastics ingested by the animal. We will not ingest it, we will not eat it, but animal one which is walking in the road, one which is walking in the forest, eating food along with the packet, it gets stuck in its stomach, gets killed. And even the small micro beads ending in the water system, blocking the passage, food passage of fishes and killing them. So this way, either it is floating as a marine snow in the water or ending up in the garbage and again to the water system, killing the animals. So here lack of moral responsibility towards other organisms, other species or other organisms in the ecosystem. Even poaching you take, killing, illegally killing the animals for greed, you know, the man is very greedy in nature. So either for the trunk of elephant, horn of rhino or callipee of a tortoise, you are killing that species itself, taking it, selling it in the market. Okay. So like this, here are man animal conflict. So here man, due to his greediness, completely takes away the house of the animal, and this leads to immoral act. It's completely an immoral act, it's an irresponsible act, it's an unfair treatment towards them, and this totally affects sustainable development. It brings down sustainable development. That means the future generation is left with no resources at all. The future generation has to live in a harsh world. Okay. So this way I can say these are some of the ethical issues which are associated with the environmental problems. So we can say these are some of the environmental ethical issues we are facing. So there might be a question, okay, you are saying these are some of the environmental ethical issues. Don't we have any acts, any rules, any regulations in our country to regulate all these things? So we have to know, yes, we have lot of act, rules, regulations, conventions, even separate bodies we have formed to check these issues, these environmental issues, starting from our constitution. Okay. In that you would have definitely come across article 48, article 48A, article 51G. First of all, you should know the base, any topic you take. My way of teaching ethics is this way only. You should know clearly what and all you do have related to that. Okay. So I am not going to elaborately discuss here, I am going to give some clue, like these are the things which we have in the form of acts, rules, regulations, conventions, or these are some of the bodies which are established for protection of environment. This way I will be giving some details. See article 48, what it is saying? It is saying that prevent the slaughter of cows and milch animals. Okay, slaughtering has to be prevented. Why? To improve the breed. Okay. So, no slaughter. 48A is talking about conserve plus prevent or conserve or protect the environment, okay, along with forest and wildlife. Even 51G is talking about conserve and protect natural resources, including forest, lakes, rivers, etc., and show compassion to all organisms. So, compassion, okay, to all living organisms. This is our constitution. Constitution itself is having certain article to take care of, to increase the moral responsibility towards all the other organisms in the environment. Okay. Apart from this, we also have separate acts and international conventions to take care of or to safeguard or and protect the environment or prevent the issues which is happening in our environment, like Environmental Protection Act is there. Only few I am going to mention here. Okay. Environmental Protection Act 1986, Wildlife Prevention Act 1972, then National Biodiversity Act, biodiversity or biological diversity 2002, even conventions like Convention on Biological Diversity we have. To safeguard the biological diversity we have Biological Convention, okay, and two more convention under this Cartagena, Nagoya protocols are there. You will study in environment elaborately. So, to safeguard the biological diversity we have these. Again we have Ramsar Convention to safeguard wetland. Wetland is an ecosystem. To safeguard that we have Ramsar Convention specifically. Then we have Kyoto Protocol to check the greenhouse gas emissions. Okay. Then we have Minamata Convention. Minamata Convention. What? For mercury pollution. Okay, these are some of the acts and conventions we are already having to check, to take care of the biodiversities, to reduce the effect of pollution on the environment, to safeguard the wildlife, okay, to protect particular ecosystem like wetlands and much more. Than this we do have lot of Sofia Protocol, Aras Protocol, like this we have lot of conventions and protocols. And we also have institutions or organizations, bodies like IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature we have, okay. Then we have Bombay Natural History Society, then we have Wetland International to safeguard the wetlands, they are there. We have BirdLife International, Then we have National Tiger Conservation Authority. Okay, we have then even like this it goes on. Apart from this, we have WWT Wildlife Trust of India, WII Wildlife Institute of India. Like this, we have several other organizations and bodies to safeguard the environment, to safeguard the ecosystem, to safeguard a particular species. We have different group of bodies or organizations to take care of that. And some schemes like Project Cheetah, Project Tiger, and now very recently new schemes like Life Initiative. Like this, we have brought in various new programs or schemes to safeguard the environment, to safeguard the wildlife, to safeguard the biodiversity. But why we need environmental ethics? We have so much acts, so much group of bodies, different types of conventions, international conventions are existing in the country, in the world itself. Why we have to go for environmental ethics? So now we are coming to that part. What is environmental ethics? Is environmental ethics new in India? Well, that's a question. Okay, so now we are going to see what is this. Is new concept. For this, let me begin from this. You would have heard this story somewhere when you are in your moral science classes in your childhood days. You would have definitely heard. So there was a great king. You know, two small short stories I like to share in this case. There was a great king called Manunidi Chola. It is a true story which has happened. Even now you visit South India, you will be finding in many temples or important places, they will have this statue of a cow ringing the bell. Okay. So this Manunidi Chola is a great warrior king. He is a king of righteousness. He is a king of justice, we can say like that. What he used to do, he used to hang a big bell, okay, in front of the palace. Whoever comes and wants justice with the king, they will ring the bell. One day, the bell was rang. The soldiers came and saw, they were very much astonished to see that a cow is ringing a bell. They took the cow to the king. So the king inquired, what is the reason why the cow is ringing the bell? So the soldiers came to know that the cow's younger one, the calf, is killed by the prince. While he is driving the chariot, due to the beating of drums and people shouting in excitement, he became very much excited and he drove the chariot in a faster way, and in that he get the calf killed. This is the problem. Now this was told to the king. After that, what do you think the king would have done? You know, as if nowadays it is not possible at all, but what he did, he granted justice to even the cow. See, underline that, even the cow. He granted justice. How he granted justice? He drove the chariot over his son and killed his son, and he made that cow ease its pain. See, your child got killed, my child also I killed because he is very much irresponsible. So this is a true story which has happened in granting justice to other organisms, not human. Consider that. Like this, we have lot of stories, even different incarnations of Lord Buddha. You would have studied Jataka stories. The Jataka story, one such Jataka story, Lord Buddha take the form of King Shibi. You would have known that story. So, King Shibi is one who is always protective in nature of his subjects. So, one time a pigeon came in flew to his lap because he was chased by a falcon. In order to escape the falcon, he came to the king. The king gave his own flesh to the falcon, the weight of pigeon. Okay. So, that is how in order to protect the pigeon he has done that. This is something called environmental ethics. Okay. So, this is not a new concept, we are already following it, we are respecting the nature. You go to the villages, the rural areas where they worship trees, they worship animals, they never kill them, they worship it. Thodas worship buffaloes. Okay. So, and many tribal groups, they have sacred groves, okay, inside the forest. It is a virgin forest, untouched forest, then they will worship that forest also. So, this is not a new concept at all. Long back, since long back we are respecting the nature, we are worshipping it like a god, we are respecting that space of the forest. So, now we will define this environmental ethics. What is environmental ethics? I can say, like a formula you can write, environmental ethics is equal to extending the traditional boundaries of including the human world, apart from including, solely including the human world, now you are extending the traditional boundaries to non-human world also. So, here human, HW means what? It is human world. Okay. So, what is NHW? That is non-human world. So, now we are extending the traditional boundary of ethics from including humans to including the non-humans also, that means other species also to be included inside ethical principles. Okay. So, by this way we are trying to bring in, or this results in sustainable development. You can write like this, sustainable, you are trying to achieve sustainable development. Okay. How, who, through which we can do? Only through the help of environmental ethics. That means man has to realize that he has to live in equilibrium or harmonious relationship with other living organisms. See, previously man considered himself as important and topmost of all. The entire world, the entire earth is an ecosystem. Okay, earth. He put himself in the topmost priority. He thought, see, I am having sixth sense, I am the best of all. Whatever I say, you all have to follow. Putting himself there, all the other organisms, other communities, everything is below him. But now we are saying this is totally wrong. Man is one of the organism who is living along with every existing, coexisting with all the other organisms in the earth, in the ecosystem. So, this is called environmental ethics. Environmental ethics is trying to teach this, that man has to live in harmonious relationship or balanced relationship with other organisms. He has to live in balance, he has to live in equilibrium with other organisms in a ecosystem. He is one among all, okay? He is not the face of all. This is called environmental ethics. Okay? So, I can say that environmental ethics is teaching to move from anthropocentric view to ecocentric view. Okay. anthropocentric view to ecocentric view. We are moving from considering man as the center of everything and other things are below him towards a view where ecosystem is the topmost priority and everyone are component of an ecosystem including man. So, we are moving from this view to that view. This is called environmental ethics, or we can say simply like moving from giving instrumental value, considering instrumental value of things, to intrinsic value, to things. So, you should know that previously man only gave instrumental value to other living beings. Man want big house, luxurious house because he is greedy, he has money, he has power, he has influence. He started encroaching the forest land. The forest belongs to all the other organisms. Okay, we cannot live in forest because we had sixth sense. We realized that we cannot live in rock and vegetations, inside the vegetations, in the thorns, okay, without slippers, without dresses, we cannot continue to live like this. So, we started constructing houses, we became civilized, but we cannot make all the other organisms into a civilization. We cannot bring them into civilization. Monkeys will live in forest only, in the trees only. Okay. So, they have certain places to live. We cannot go and encroach it, but we are doing it. Like man animal conflict, you would have seen that in a very advanced state, in the intellectually advanced state, you would have seen that an elephant which came in search of water inside the village was killed by giving pineapple which has bomb in it. It went inside the elephant's mouth, it bursted there inside the stomach. So, what kind of mentality and morality we do have towards other organisms? That is the question. So, here we are only considering them as an instrument for something which we require, the benefit which we reap from them, the benefit which we get from the plants, which we get from the animals, only we are seeing in that angle. But environmental ethics is saying no. How will you think in that angle? If you are having some inherent value for yourself, then every organisms in this ecosystem also has some inherent value within themselves. Okay. So, this is what it is trying to establish. It is trying to establish a balanced, adaptable relationship between man and other organisms in the ecosystem. So, how this field of environmental ethics emerged? You would have heard this somewhere, that about Rachel Carson. She wrote a book called Silent Spring. Okay. In 1962, he wrote a book called Silent Spring, and this book, it created an awareness among the people. She wrote about the pesticide. You all know about this pesticide called DDT. Okay. So, this started killing the small house sparrows, okay, which visits that spring water body. So, the spring became very silent. Lot of birds started killed by using this DDT in the farmland, and based on that she wrote a poem called Silent Spring. She wrote a book in 1962, and this created an awareness. It evoked the consciousness of the people, and this led to the formation of the US Environmental Agency. Later, then that's the first time that environmental ethics started emerging as a field. It's an environmental philosophical part. They thought that even though countries are framing laws, rules, regulations, acts, bodies to overlook all these acts, rules and regulations, man has to realize something inside of him, okay, apart from the external forcible factors. There should be something where he has to realize from his heart, from his inside, it has to come from inherently, okay. So, that is something called ethics. Ethics only can do that duty, and starting from this formation of US Environmental Agency and celebration of Earth Day, you all know that Earth Day also we are celebrating, then that environmental ethics started emerging as a separate field, okay. So, why we have to study environmental ethics? Why this should be a separate field? Why we should give importance to environmental ethics as a separate field? That question now we are going to discuss. So, this emergence, this slowly emerged like this as a separate field. Why we are studying this as a separate field? First thing, to increase or to bring, I can say, to bring environmental consciousness or awareness among citizens, among the people. As I said, that Rachel Carson has brought awareness to the people. She made them to realize that the usage of the pesticide is killing the birds, okay. So, over the period they become extinct also. This consciousness has to be brought in the people's mind, only to evoking the ethical principles, okay, we can bring the consciousness to people. Very recently, government has also made a lot of move, okay, following the Wanganui river in New Zealand. They declared Wanganui river as a living entity, okay. New Zealand government was the first one to do that. They declared the Wanganui river as living entity. Following the suit, in India, Ganga and Yamuna is declared as a living entity. What is for enjoyment they are doing this? Why? What is the reason they are doing that? They say that Ganga and Yamuna is like a human, like us. If you are polluting them, they have every right to sue you, okay. So, what? In order to protect them, to increase the awareness among the people, environmental consciousness, to raise the environmental consciousness. Now, we are moving towards protecting the other organisms in the environment. How? Through environmental ethics only. We are raising the awareness. Even now we are talking about the life initiative. In environment, you would have definitely come across this life. Okay, what is this initiative? This is a consciousness movement, creating consciousness among every citizens, every individual. You are raising the consciousness among them that you have to be responsible towards the environment. You have to be aware about your usage of electricity, usage of daily consumption of energies, try to reduce it. So, this way environmental consciousness lifestyle movement, that is life initiative. Okay. So, this is one important reason that we have to move towards environmental ethics. Second, you can say that to reduce environmental, or I can say in the positive modus, to bring environmental justice. Okay. How will you bring environmental justice? Previously, you were only talking about the green climate funds, this fund, that fund to support the people. Everyone you treated equally. But now, in COP27, COP27 conference, which took place, the UNFCCC conference, we came out with a finance called loss and damage finance. Have you ever heard about this? This is one another example for environmental ethics, because people started thinking that the one who has caused less damage to the environment has been affected more than the other. So, the climate change vulnerable countries has to be helped out with the fund to be given by those who cause the damage to the environment. This way we are supporting now, we are bringing in the environmental justice. One way I am telling, I cannot bring all the examples here for you. So, to establish environmental justice, we need environmental ethics. We need to study, or we need to know, or we need to impart environmental ethics. Okay. Third, the environmental ethics will increase environmentalism. What is environmentalism? Environmentalism means an act to protect, okay, or conserve the environment. So, this is bringing in environmentalism. This will raise environmentalism in the minds of people. We even now, we are what we are doing, we are going to a shop, we are saying that we no need plastic bags. I have brought a jute bag with me, I will take the things in the jute bag, do not give me plastic bag. Okay. So, we are thinking about the circular economy now. So, instead of the wasted economy or one time use economy, we are going to circular economy. What is circular economy? Reduce, you would have seen like this, no, reduce, reuse, recycle. That is circular economy. Okay, reduce, reuse, recycle. That is something called as circular economy. So, this environmentalism, this is some examples I am saying. See, in ethics you have to write along with examples only. Fourth, so fourth, we do not have space, we will take a new slide. To reduce environmental discrimination. Okay, thereby reducing the injustice. So, now we are questioning, if somebody is trying to dump the waste inside our country, we are putting in a ban. We are putting a ban on that product, that it should not come inside the country, because it is completely destroying the younger generations when they are getting exposed to the pollution from that particular substances. When they are getting exposed, they are getting exposed to the harmful effect of that substances, which the pollution which are occurring due to that substances. This way we are trying to stop. And we are trying to convert waste to energy. Instead of dumping the waste in the rural area or in the slum area, we are trying to recycle it. We are focusing on circular economy, we are converting waste to energy. Okay. So, this way we are trying to move towards an environmental conscious lifestyle. All this happens due to environmental ethics only. Fifth, you can say that this will increase eco efficiency. How this will increase eco efficiency? See, what is first eco efficiency? That means the efficiency of a product. Okay. Efficiency of a product is increased. How it will increase? How the efficiency of a product is increased? By reducing waste, by reducing energy usage, energy consumption, no, to produce the product. I can write reducing energy use, low impact material. this way the eco-efficiency of the product will increase. So, when people are trying to think on the behalf of the ecosystem or behalf of the environment, they try to reduce waste, they try to use the waste in different way, they in their form of energy they are trying to consume. Okay, they are trying to reduce the energy consumption, they are trying to reduce the pollution, this way the efficiency of the product will increase, and that is why nowadays we are talking about biofuel policies, we are going to biofuels. Okay, so we are encouraging national biofuel policies, we are talking about green hydrogen. Yes, do you remember, we are talking about green hydrogen, we are talking about you know, the ethanol blending, E20 ethanol blending, okay, like this, even compressed biogas. So, like this we are devising new method, bio toilets, okay, in order to reduce the waste or use the waste into a product. In this way we are increasing the eco efficiency, and unnecessarily we will not pollute or damage the environment. Instead of that, we are conserving and protecting the environment by producing eco efficient product. Okay, and again this will help in bring cross border environmentalism. So, what is cross border environmentalism? You would have heard this word somewhere, where more countries which are facing the similar problem with related to an organism or related to some issues, some pollution problems or something, they join together, okay, any protecting any species, any organism, let us take any species they want to protect, or they want to stop, inhibit the pollution problem, they are joining together, they are bringing out certain programs, certain schemes. Okay, this is something called as cross border environmentalism. This will increase cross border environmentalism. Environmental ethics will create an impact such a way that country will start investing in protecting the other species of ecosystem or inhibiting those things which damages the environment. Okay, even now you would have heard about the international, the very recent initiative I am talking, International Big Cat Alliance. You would have heard about this. Okay, so where India is leading others, they are creating a responsibility, moral responsibility in the mentality of other countries, where they are going to protect the 7 big cats. Same way we have International Solar Alliance in order to increase solar energy consumption, Solar Alliance. Okay, we National Biofuel, Global Biofuel Alliance. Okay, like this we have several initiatives coming one after another. So, how? Because of this, because of the raising awareness, raising consciousness on the mentality of the people to protect and conserve the other organisms which is present in the ecosystem. Okay, like how they are protecting themselves, how they are thinking about humans, they also should think about other organisms in the morally responsible way. Okay, this way we can coexist with the environment, and we can also reap the benefit that we can achieve development, and at the same time we cannot harm the future generations needs. So, thereby we are achieving sustainable development. Okay. So, this way we have seen what is environmental ethics, we have seen some of the environmental ethical issues, first of all problems, and then we have defined what is environmental ethics, and we have also said environmental ethics is not a new concept. In India we have in various ways, various religions also asking humans to protect other organisms. Okay. Along with that, we also saw what is the need, we have to have environmental ethics as a specific field. Now, see, There was a question which was asked in 2014. The question was like this: development versus degradation. If there is if there is a development, if a development is taking place, there will be degradation, environmental degradation will happen. This is natural, it is how it is happening. So, what way we can, what strategy we have to follow in order to tackle this problem, this conflict between development and degradation, environmental degradation and economic development, both has to happen. Infrastructure development has to happen, at the same time environmental degradation should not happen. So, what strategy you will follow to tackle development versus degradation in order to achieve sustainable development? This was the question. Sustainable development. They asked in case study, but like a theoretical question they have asked. So, you have to write steps, strategies to tackle degradation and development, and how you will achieve sustainable development. You have to protect, at the same time you have to develop. How will you do it? So, this is something I already told you. Ethics means completely purely philosophy only, they will not ask us a question. You have to be very well prepared. So, how will you write notes for this? Definitely you should have an idea in the environment field. You should know, you have to connect how sustainable development is taking place. You should know important management tools like environmental auditing, you have to know. So, like this there are certain tools which you will be studying. Even in my book I have mentioned all these things. So, the environmental impact assessment has to be done with related to a project. When you are taking a project, when you are carrying out a project in environment, there is a topic called environmental impact assessment. It is a separate topic in your mains for your environment you have. So, you should connect that here, and you have to give some certain steps. How will be achieving sustainable development? By considering degradation, you have to reduce degradation, at the same time you have to bring in development, and you have to achieve sustainable development. Stepwise you have to write this. Then in 2015 there was another question they have asked like this. Direct question it is. What is environmental ethics? This is a question which came there in 2015. What is environmental ethics? You have to write the definition for this. We have given us a formula. It is better to write as a formula. Explain it. Then why we need to study environmental ethics? Why we need to study environmental ethics? I am writing in short form. So, you have to write number 1, to increase the race awareness, consciousness among people. Like this you have to write, irrespective of all the laws, rules, regulations, judicial precedents we do have. We need something from which has to be inherent from the human, which has to come from his inner sense. That is something called as ethical principles. So, environmental ethics is the need of the heart. Like this you have to conclude. And then they asked, write or give at least one environmental issues, environmental problem with related to or with respect to ethical issues. So, there is something they ask like this, connecting the environmental problems with the ethical issue you have to write. So, this way the question will not be a single question, you will have small parts inside the question. You should know how to address the entire question. So, for that we have discussed, from that you can take and write the answers. Same way, if the question is again repeated in the forthcoming years, if they will not ask something from Greek and Latin, something new. Same, you have to know how you have to connect the ethical issues inside environment and then steps to tackle it. How will you tackle that problem? So, measures, you should be very much prepared with that when you are addressing this particular section. Okay. So far we have done everything with related to environmental ethics. So, starting from definition to the concept and new keywords I have given for you, and why we are studying environmental ethics also we have done, along with the environmental problems we have discussed. So, with this we will conclude this topic, and we can again meet with some other topic. Thank you all.